Here on The Colour of Country Life, great to be chatting again with Emergency Services Minister Joe Zakach. How are you going today?
I'm really good, Ricky. Thanks for your interest, and g'day to your listeners.
Yeah, thank you. Look, we're sorry but not sorry. We generated a lot of interest in this farm firefighting unit grant program that came back under the incoming government. It looks like you've had a heavy amount of interest in it.
It has, and look, we're not surprised at all by this. The very strong feedback that I received and that the government received when we were in opposition was that rural communities, farmers, wanted these grants reinstated. So one of the first things that I did as a new minister was to get these going. So we've had over 1,200 applications, and I'm very, very pleased to be able to let you know that now they've all been approved by an independent panel. And we've got over 270 people that have been successful and over 720 pieces of firefighting equipment getting out into our communities in time for fire season.
That is important news, and when it comes to firefighting capacity, these farm firefighting units do a great job in supplementing what the CFS and indeed the MFS and others can do across the state.
Yeah, it's absolutely part of our frontline response. I've spoken to so many farmers over the last short 5 months that I've been a minister, and also engaged in a really positive way with primary producers, grain producers, and they've all told me the same thing. That is that they're a critical frontline service, and they supplement our CFS and MFS in our regions. And it's about having not only the coordination between our agencies and farmers, but to ensure that when we are having our farmers on the front line, that they're as safe as they possibly can be as well. And that's why I'm really pleased that so many pieces of personal protective equipment, radios or first aid kits have been part of these successful grants as well.
Now, statistically, the majority went to the Adelaide Hills Council region, but they've been distributed all across the state from the southeast right out to the west coast.
Absolutely, far and wide. One of the key indicators that I wanted to see come from this was both a geographic spread and a needs-based approach. And the independent panel that was put in place to assess these has come back and done exactly that. So a widespread disbursement of this equipment, the four corners of our state, to be honest with you. And what that's meant is that those communities with both need as well as, to some extent, isolation are being successful in these grants. And we've got some really important economic stimulus that's occurring as well. Of course, this is all new equipment. One of the very important things that I put in place was to ensure that all of the equipment that was being provided as part of these grants were brand new. So small and medium-sized enterprises will have a small economic boost from this as well.
When it comes to the number of applications, sort of 1 in 6 got a grant. Is there another funding round coming? What have we got funded into the future?
So this is a 4-year commitment that we've made as a new government. So $2 million across the term of our forward estimates. So this year and 3 years to come. And that was very deliberate in design. We knew that this was going to be popular. We knew this was going to be very widespread. And that's why we've committed $2 million and for 3 more years as well. We want to make sure that we support this as best we can, and that if someone wasn't successful this year, then I strongly encourage them to apply sometime in the next 3 years as well, because there is going to be a commitment. This is ongoing for the next 3 years.
Now, as we head into the warmer months, people might be tempted to be a little bit more complacent, but they shouldn't be, I imagine, especially with the amount of green vegetation there'd be in regional South Australia.
Yeah, I think it'd be easy for people to become complacent, knowing that we have a very high likelihood of a La Nina through this summer again. But what that means is it's a chance of pushing out the real danger within our fire season. But it also means that every day that we don't have a fire or a catastrophic or extreme fire danger rating, that's a day that our community can prepare for when the fire comes, for when those catastrophic days come, potentially a little bit later into 2023. But we also know that in some regions across our state, particularly in the north and mid-north, that load is very high, and we're starting to see drying out as it is now. So the one message, if I could put across to all of your listeners, is to use every chance they have to prepare, to get their bushfire ready plan in place, so that when these days do come, that they're not too late and they're absolutely ready.
And when farmers are harvesting, there have been incidents in the past when there's a lot going through the machine in a dense harvest when it comes to the risk with their harvest and a code of practice that's in place. Grain Producers SA said they wanted that to sort of be slowed down a little bit. Have you had any representations from them or others about where we're at with that code of practice?
So the code of practice, as it intercedes with the Australian Fire Danger Rating System, the new nationally consistent approach is, of course, one that the CFS is working very closely with all stakeholders on, including the grain producers. What I want to see as a minister is a very significant investment into public education and public understanding of our new fire danger rating. What I do know is that grain producers, as well as other primary producers, do take their responsibilities seriously. They've told me that they take them seriously, and I've seen it firsthand, and that's why not only have I wanted to see the success of this farm firefighting unit grant program out into primary producers, but also they've told me that it's highly popular. So we're going to continue to support all stakeholders working very closely with our fire agencies to get the best outcomes for our community.
Minister Joe Zakash for Emergency Services in South Australia, you've been generous with your time. Thank you very much for joining us today on Flow.
Thanks, Ricky. All the best.